Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today, I have another episode of my championship score predictions, guys. So just before we get into anything here, guys, I've got to say yet again, just thank you so much for all the support you guys have showed on this series so far, and as well as that, just thank you so much for everyone that leaves a comment down below. I can't say thank you enough because it's just been mental lately with all the comments that we've been getting. I love going through them all and seeing all you guys and all your contrasting opinions. It really does make for a good debate in the comments down below, and that's what we like to see, really. We like to get a good community going here, and I just gotta say thank you first of all. So if you've not seen this series before, let me briefly explain how it all goes down. So each week I give my championship score predictions for what I think that each and every game will turn out to be for the scoreline, and FIFA 17 also makes their predictions, but what I'm really interested to know is what you guys have to say. So in the description down below I will leave all the games that are taking place this weekend, and I want you guys to make your predictions. Then if you do manage to get any of your predictions right, I will put your comment on the screen at the start of my next video, guys. So if you don't have time, you don't have to do all of them, you can just do a couple if you'd like. But first of all, before we get into my score predictions for this week, I will put your comments on screen now. So if you did manage to correctly guess any of the midweek scorelines, I will put your comments on screen now. And fair play, it was a pretty hectic week, I must say so, and I for one thought it was a fantastic week, really, because obviously my team, Preston, managed to walk away with a 3-1 victory against Huddersfield Town. And to be fair to me, you know, I got quite a bit of stick in the comments down below in my last video because I actually said that I thought Preston would actually beat Huddersfield, and we actually did in the end. So fair play to the Huddersfield fans that did come though. I thought they were very good, but not the best performance from them. But enough of that, really. I've rambled on for too long now, but we'll get into my score predictions now. Okay, guys, so going into our first game we have to talk about here, guys, we have Burton Albion at home to Birmingham. So two teams at this point in time which are, I suppose you could say, are in contrasting stages at the table. I mean, Burton in around the bottom of the table, where Birmingham have been, had actually a very impressive start, currently being in the top 6. So for that reason, I am going to back Birmingham. Obviously, they're coming off the back of a fantastic midweek win, and Burton are coming off the back of a midweek loss. So I'm going to say that Birmingham are going to win this one 2-1. I think that Burton will try and make this one quite tight at the back, but FIFA 17 has actually said that Birmingham are going to win this one 1-0. Into our next game we then go, guys. We have Aston Villa coming up against Fulham. So since Steve Bruce has come in for Aston Villa, they look like a completely different side. I mean, they got their first win in like over 400 days away from home the other day against Reading. So I am going to back Aston Villa because they seem to have been gathering a bit of momentum under Steve Bruce. I think he's inspired a bit of confidence really into this Aston Villa side, a bit of belief as to what they can actually achieve. And Fulham, I suppose, have come off the back of an impressive midweek result, getting a point against Norwich. Of course, never going to be an easy feat, but I'm going to back Aston Villa with the form they're currently in. I'm going to say it's going to be a tight one, but Villa will win 2-1 in my opinion. FIFA's also sort of agreeing with me there, they saying that Villa are going to win this one 1-0. Our next match we then go into, guys, is Brentford coming up against Barnsley. So at this point in time, Brentford have been hit a little bit of a rocky patch, I suppose, lately, and I suppose the same could be said for Barnsley with a couple of the results that haven't been going their way lately. So for that reason, I'm going to say that this one's going to end as a 1-1. I think both these sides, towards the start of the season, both these two sides were on fire. Since then, they've slumped down a little bit. I mean, that was always to be expected, but I'm going to say this one's going to end level as a 1-1 draw. FIFA 17 has said that Brentford are going to win this one only just by a 1-0 goal margin. Going into our next match, we then have, guys, we have Bristol City coming up against Blackburn Rovers. So if I was to make this prediction probably, I'd say 2 weeks ago, I'd be backing Bristol City to win this hands down, but since then I can't really be too confident with Bristol City going out and getting the win in this one. I mean, they did actually lose midweek to QPR, a result that I actually did predict. I said that QPR would win that match, but for this one I'm going to say I think it'll end level actually as a 1-1 draw. I mean, Blackburn I've been quite impressed with so far, really, and since the start of the season they started very badly, but since then they started to pick themselves up. They got a fantastic result midweek against Nottingham Forest, so I'm going to say that they're actually going to get a point away from home in this one. I'm going to say this one's going to end level as a 1-1. FIFA 17 has backed Bristol City for this one as a 1-0 winners, so I'd be interested to know what you think of this one, Bristol City fans especially. Our next match we then go into, guys, is Huddersfield Town coming up against Derby County. So this one is one which I'm probably looking forward to really the most, obviously, apart from the Preston match, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one actually turns out because Huddersfield Town really are in need of getting something from this match, I suppose, because they're coming off the back of 2 successive defeats now. They've dropped down in the table to 4th, so if they want to continue the momentum that they've showed at the start of the season, they're going to have to get something from this match. But do I see them doing it? I'm actually going to back Derby to get the victory in this match. That may be a bit controversial, but with the slump that Huddersfield currently find themselves in, I feel like they'll be maybe a bit exposed really to what Derby can actually offer. Of course, Derby haven't been the best side this season, I'm not going to deny that, but they have showed signs of improvement since Steve McLaren has come into the job, and you know, he's someone that already knows this Derby side, so I'm thinking it shouldn't really take him too long to get the best out of them. So I'm actually going to back Derby for an away win here. Maybe a bit controversial, I'm going to say 1-0 Derby, but FIFA 17 said that this one's going to be a 0-0. Huddersfield fans, what do you think the outcome of this game will be? Going into our next match, we then have, guys, we have Newcastle coming up against Ipswich Town. So I always find it really hard to predict the Newcastle scoreline because you never really know what's going to happen. I mean, if they're going to continue to show their clinical edge in front of goal, especially at home this season, you can't back against Newcastle not to win this match. I mean, despite Ipswich getting a good result in midweek, I'm going to back Newcastle to win this match. I'm going to say it's going to end 3-0 to Newcastle. No offence to Ipswich fans, of course. You're coming up against here, which is probably the best team in the league, so I wouldn't say that's too much of an offence. But obviously, Ipswich are coming off the back of a victory, and it's hard to say that Ipswich are going to concede 3 with normally how defence-orientated their squad is. But, you know, with Newcastle side, you know, you got, like, John Joe Shelby feeding in Dwight Gale. You can't back against them. So I'm going to say this one's going to end 3-0 to Newcastle. FIFA 17 said this one's going to be a 0-0. Into our next match, we then have, guys, we have Norwich coming up against my team, Preston North End. So Preston North End currently are on a fantastic, rich vein of form. We're currently 5 games unbeaten, and our last 3 results have been absolutely excellent. We picked up 7 points out of a possible 9 from Aston Villa, Brighton, and Huddersfield. So I'd have definitely taken that. And going into this game, I think what we'll want to do is show no fear, really. But going into this game against Norwich is, of course, going to be a tough one. And as much as it does pay me to do it, I am going to back Norwich to actually win this match. I feel like with Preston, I mean, we may be a bit more fatigued than Norwich are because obviously we played on the Wednesday, whereas Norwich played on the Tuesday. So we may be a bit more lacking a bit more fitness, I suppose, in that aspect. And going up against Norwich at Norwich, it's always going to be probably one of the toughest away days we face this season. But I think we will give them a game, but I am going to say Norwich are going to win this one 2-1. And I'd love nothing more than for us to keep this unbeaten run going. But going away to Norwich, I'm really not sure. But FIFA 17 has actually backed Preston for this one. FIFA 17 has actually backed us to get a 1-0 victory. That would be insane, but can I see it? I'm not so sure. The next match we're then going to, guys, we have Rotherham coming up against Reading. So this one taking place at Rotherham. Rotherham currently being managerless when I am recording this video. Obviously, Alan Stubbs has now been sacked. So Rotherham fans, let me know in the comments down below what is your opinion on that. And of course, being managerless, I can't see Rotherham getting anything from this game, really. I mean, if they are able to turn it around and whoever will be the interim manager for this game can have a reaction out of the players, fair play to them, absolutely. But personally, I can't see it. I'm going to back Reading to get a 2-0 away win in this game. FIFA 17 has said this one's going to be another 0-0. The next match we then go to, guys, we have Sheffield Wednesday coming up against Queen's Park Rangers. So for this one, last week I actually backed QPR for like the first time this season, and they actually walked away with a victory over Bristol City. But going away to Sheffield Wednesday is a whole new kettle of fish, really, I suppose. But Sheffield Wednesday this season have shown flutters of excellence, but when I say flutters, I really do mean flutters. And when they do show up, they're magnificent, but they've not really hit that on a consistent basis so far. So for that reason, I'm not sure whether they'll hit their heights that they've seen so far this season against this QPR side. So I'm actually going to say this one's going to end level as a 1-1. Let me know what you think of that down below, Sheffield Wednesday fans, I must say. But FIFA 17 has actually said that Sheffield Wednesday are going to win this one by a 1-0 goal margin. So be an interesting game, this one, for sure. Next match we're then going to, guys, we have Wigan coming up against Brighton and Hove Albion. So for this one, Wigan would love nothing more than to get something from this game, I'm sure. I mean, Brighton being a fantastic outfit so far this season, it really is going to be a tough and backs to wall against the games, I suppose, for Wigan. And I think with the counter activity of what these sides both like to do with the ball, it'll be a really interesting tactical battle, perhaps, this one. But of course, I am going to back Brighton for this one. With the form that both these sides currently in, I've got to back Brighton for the victory in this one. So I'm going to say it's going to end 2-0 to Brighton in this game. Let me know what you think of that down below. And FIFA 17 has actually backed Brighton to win this one as well, 1-0. So I'll be interested to know what you think of that. And if Brighton are able to mount a bit of momentum at this point in the season, do you think they can challenge the top 2? Let me know down below. Our second to last match we then have, guys, we have Wolves coming up against Leeds United. So this one, another really tough one to predict, really, with both sides having flutters of form here and there. Wolves probably more so than Leeds this season, but with Wolves being the home side, and I've been quite impressed with what Walter Zenga has been doing so far this season and the way Wolves have been going about their style of football. Gary Monk's Leeds United have been a bit inconsistent so far, so it's really hard to gauge where they're at this point in the season. But I'm going to say that Wolves are going to win this one. I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-1 tight affair, and FIFA's actually agreed that it's going to be tight, but they've said it's going to be another 0-0. Still with FIFA 17, we're getting a lot of 0-0s for these predictions. And then the last match we go into, guys, we have being played at the City Ground. We have Nottingham Forest coming up against Cardiff. So Cardiff I've been really impressed with so far, really, ever since they've been under management of Neil Warnock. He really has seemed to rejuvenate this side, and it's sort of a tendency that he has, really, with struggling Championship sides to just get an instant reaction out of him. I don't know how he does it, but it'd be interesting to know, Cardiff fans, what you thought of him so far. But it's been quite typical so far this season for there to be quite high scorers at the City Ground, and I'm going to go with that trend for this one, actually. I am going to say that Cardiff are going to win this match because the Forest display against Blackburn midweek was not anything to shout about, definitely so. So I'm actually going to say Cardiff are going to win this match 3-2. Bit of a big score for that one. Probably the biggest score I've predicted so far, with 5 goals being scored. And FIFA's actually predicted that Cardiff are going to win this match as well, 2-1. Forest, such a hard one to predict. Probably one of the hardest ones so far this season, really, to predict, because they've had, similarly to Leeds, really, so far this season, they've had flutters of form where they've gone from really high highs to really low lows. So let me know in the comments down below what you think the outcome of this game will be. I'm saying 3-2 Cardiff. Okay, guys, so that will now wrap it up for my Championship score predictions, guys. So thank you so much for watching. So if you do leave a like on the video, that will be massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you leave all your comments in the comments down below for what your score predictions are this week. And also, what do you think of my predictions this week? I'll be very interested to know, guys. But apart from that, that will wrap it up from me. So make sure you also check out all the links in the description down below. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. I always tweet before I upload a video. Therefore, you'll never miss a video ever again, guys. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.